How old are you?
I'm 29.
What's the most challenging thing about dating at 29 in Miami?
When you have nothing to offer,
You or the man?
a man.
Okay.
I feel like men these days, like you have to like pretty much ask them what's their favorite lip gloss because they just want princess treatment.
You don't know what words mean, do you?
I think you got that backwards, which I totally get. When your bra size is higher than your IQ, that's bound to happen every once in a while. And considering that I am a certified gent, I think the only gentlemanly thing to do is to correct the gibberish that just spewed forth from your warm mayonnaise receptacle. You see, madam, the biggest problem with dating isn't that men have nothing to offer, it's that modern women aren't willing to offer anything. We don't want to be treated like princesses. That's really not our bag. We just want to be treated like human beings. Maybe every once in a while it would be nice to be pampered with a back rub or a trip to a pinball museum, but apparently that's asking too much these days. You insist on treating a man like a status trophy and a cash machine, and you want us to pay for all of your meaningless garbage like makeup, salon trips, as well as your concerningly high bar tab. And in return, you offer your mere presence, and for the record, what you're offering has next to nothing in value.
What gives you that idea?
They just want you to like chase after them. They want you to like be the one to initiate conversations. There's like no like real men anymore.
Should a man not be chased and admired?
No, they should be chasing.
What gave you that mentality?
I think maybe my upbringing.
What about it though?
A man should be a man. I don't know. Yeah.
Lady, I hate to break it to you, but a lot of the real men you're bashing were former simps. These were the guys that you at best ignored and at worst treated like the scum you scrape off the top of tomato soup. And when a simp has finally had enough of your garbage and breaks free, your value drops to nothing. We're too busy improving on ourselves. We're working out, eating better, making business, and pursuing awesome hobbies like Warhammer or golf cart jousting. And because of all of this work we're putting into ourselves, that leaves precious little time for harlots such as yourself. You don't get to reap the benefits of our hard work, and you're certainly not basking in our glory. We're not going back to that life because our self-worth is more important than how you feel about real men. Because nobody cares what you think. We simply don't have the time, the energy, or the breath to waste on a woman whose personality is based on the price of her eyeliner.
Is there a difference between pursuing and chasing though?
It's like the same thing. Yeah, they're like the same thing.
So how do you show a man that you value him if he's always chasing you?
If I actually want him, then I will make the time for him and give him attention. But if he's not giving me that initial attention, then I'm good.
See you later!
If you're willing to make time for a guy that you're interested in, that's not something that makes you special or unique. What you are describing is known as scheduling, and that's literally part of the bare minimum requirement to go out on a date, and that's not even counting showing up. So in that regard, what you're saying is that you are willing to do less than the bare minimum, and you're acting like writing something down on a calendar is on par with some romantic gesture. But we're not talking about showing up to your own wedding sober. We're talking about showing up to a coffee shop for an awkward 40-minute conversation. And if this is what you bring to the table, then the real men rightly stay away. Others may pursue you, but that's either because they want to take you to bed or they've suffered a massive closed head injury and don't know any better. Either way, you're not nearly as special as you think. And I won't lie to you, your 17 cats will probably think the same way.
Years old. You can't really use the word situationship.
I love Shanice for this one. If you go watch the full thing, but essentially she says, I feel like at 30, you cannot use the word situationship. At this point, you just have to acknowledge that you have poor boundaries. And it's so funny because I can't tell you how many times, like, I have a 6-month rule. Like, if it doesn't go anywhere within 6 months, like, I cut it off.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah, I'm calling Cow Dookie on this one. If you have a 6-month rule, then there's no hope for you. Be honest with yourself, woman. If you're not considered exclusive after 6 months, then you're nothing more than a glorified bed warmer. Deep down, you know this, and you're hoping that if you nag Chad long enough, he'll change in order to be with you. But that's simply not how it works. Chad doesn't have to change for anybody, especially for an aging crone such as yourself, because Chad has options, and you don't. Chad can go to a bar right now and get a woman, no problem, and you'd be lucky to get a drunk accountant at a TGI Fridays. Chad can offer a world of stability and security for the right woman, and all you have to offer is a rancid muck bucket of ruthless torment.
Ew. What a mess. Ew. Ew. Ew.
And men don't like there being like a time frame, but that's a boundary. And typically people don't like boundaries. And I, just got done having a conversation with a man where I'm like, listen, I am some man's wife. So I know that if I keep wasting time on somebody that this isn't going anywhere, a situationship or like just us getting to know each other, you are keeping me from finding my husband. So I have to cut you off.
Oh, you dim-witted simpleton. Darling, I'm gonna level with you. You are over the age of 30. You were supposed to find your husband 10 years ago, 5 at the absolute latest. You spent the better part of a decade jumping from Chad to Tyrone to Miguel to Chang, then back to Chad when Chang hurt your feelings once. Any man that would have been an ideal match for you, you ultimately rejected because he didn't talk like Chad or bang like Tyrone, and you could have easily had found your husband out there if you checked your friend zone or lowered your standards enough to accept that there's no shame in dating an average guy. But there you sit, thinking you have it all figured out, and you have yet to be hit with the realization that your prime years are far behind you because no man is willing to waste his time with a woman
whose life must be an unendurable hellscape of excruciating sadness.
But it's so funny, like hearing that, when you're younger, you have time to waste. You have time to be in those situationships. But at 30, you just have to be more serious about like what you're looking for. You need to have standards, expectations, and strong boundaries, and you will not find yourself in another situationship again. And men respect boundaries. Boys do not respect boundaries. So if he doesn't like your boundaries and he's like, all right, bye, peace out, he's not for you, sis.
Remember, your biological clock is ticking.
Madam, you need to understand something. If you're at the age of 30 and you're still single, then the absolute best thing you can hope for is a situationship. There isn't a man out there who is willing to settle for you because you're too high maintenance and you carry too much baggage. What you call boundaries are what most men are going to see as minimum requirements. Most of us would rather stay alone than have to deal with a woman who is seriously trying to get into a relationship at the age of 30. You had your entire youth to find a good guy and build something serious and lifelong, but instead you decided to trade all of it away for meaningless moments of fun and a head full of trauma and trust issues. This is why self-respecting men want nothing to do with you. They would rather get with a woman who's gonna treat them more like a person and less like a sperm donor.
I'm so over Hinge, that app is a cesspit. Like, one of the sad things I've learned about myself since using it is that I have a very, very clear type. And yet on the most compatible page, Hinge just shows me these people that clearly are not that type. Like, is their algorithm just that bad? And let's be real, like, I'm kind of desperate, so I'm not even that picky. So where are all the suitable men? And guys, we get it. Like, creating a Hinge profile absolutely sucks. We all hate having to do it. But when you're answering like a complete dickhead, like, just get over yourself. We're all on here for the same reason. Stop pretending that you're better than this app, because if you're here, you're clearly not.
Speak for yourself, moron. Oh my god, that is funny!
Oh my god! Listen, lady, the reason why Hinge's algorithm isn't helping you is twofold. For starters, look at you. Just look in the mirror. You're over the age of 50, you're covered with at least 3 pounds of interstellar class makeup, you have purple and gray hair, and you're covered in tattoos. There isn't an algorithm on the face of this planet, or any galaxy for that matter, that can save you from your desperation. I have no idea what in the hell your type is, but trust me, you are not the type of those particular dudes. Second, it's Hinge. Most self-respecting men got off the dating app 6 or 7 years ago after we realized it was taking up too much space on our phones. So we replaced the dating apps with mostly mobile games and apps that would help us find the best meatball sandwich in the Tri-County area. Believe me, it's not nearly as easy as it sounds.
And then there's some people who ask what's the greatest risk they've taken in life, and they reply with Hinge, and I'm just like, maybe you should go live life a little bit more. And what is with all the gym pictures? Like, I am all for having, you know, one, it's totally good, you've got to be proud of all that work you're putting in. But when someone's whole profile is just topless pics of them, I'm kind of like, oh, I get it, you've worked hard for it, but also, is this your whole personality? Because if it is, next.
Well, bye.
Those guys who say that their biggest life was going on Hinge were either making a joke or they were being honest because they're terrified of meeting people like you. And most men can't really be bothered to put forth any effort into creating an online dating profile anyway, because most of the time, women look at their photo and immediately choose whether or not they want to ignore them, with 9 times out of 10 being the accurate statistic that says they'll most likely be ignored. That's why gym bros show off their Spartan physiques. They can use photos to replace the amount of work it takes to fill in a profile, and online dating has really benefited those men because women will see their photo and immediately want to ride them like a war horse going into no man's land. But the best part is that I have not been on an online dating app for years, and I know this, and you for some reason don't.
You know that. Of course I do, sir. Everybody knows that. Of course we do, sir.
I do love, though, being able to know that someone is a Tory, because that saves a lot of time and potential heartbreak down the line. And we all know that dog in the picture isn't actually yours, you're just using it for Hinge. But it worked, I will 100% match you every single time. I think we can all see why I'm still single, and probably will be for a very long time. It's fine, I really love my own company, and I'm gonna keep on having fun dating. And of course, sharing all of my fails on here.
Well, something about that is just downright unsettling.
For those of you who don't hail from the land of tea-drinking spice traders, a Tory is a conservative. Or at least I think it is. I speak 3 languages: English, Bad English, and Terlaxian, which is just a version of English that lacks the letter R. But I digress. I don't speak Cockney, so I have no idea if I'm getting the definition of Tory correctly. So if I did get the definition incorrectly, to all of my fellow gentlemen and gents across the pond, please accept my sincerest apologies. But either way, it doesn't matter, because thanks to a massive cabal of evil billionaires, dating apps have had a massive hand in completely destroying human pair bonding, to the point where a woman will talk to you if you pose with a dog, but will want nothing to do with you depending on how you tick a box in a voting booth. Seriously, woman, I would say take what you can get, because at this point, you are in no position to be picky.
A woman over 27, it's time to sell. You're a woman over 30, it's time to put some, it's time to mark this shit on 50% off. If you're over 35, it's time to put that shit on clearance. If you at 40, it's time to put that shit at the outlet. If you at 50, Salvation Army.
Okay, let me go on a rant here. Here is why a lot of women do not take men seriously. Not anymore. Not in my generation, no. Because y'all expect us to settle for a 2 for $25 at Chili's when my perfume costs $100. I have a townhome. My car is paid off. Full-time job. First of all, I'm also disabled.
Nobody cares, Sean. Nobody cares.
So you work full-time, pay rent, own your own car, and pay your own bills. Well, congratulations, you have completed the bare minimum requirements of being a functioning adult in today's society. But let me ask you a question. Since you have your car paid off, what are you doing with those monthly payments since it's not going towards that car note? Are you investing that money? Do you have a stock portfolio? Do you own any precious metals? How about this? Have you winterized your windows? The answer is obviously no, because you're clearly spending your money on perfume and nose rings. Don't get me wrong, dudes love women that smell nice, but $100? That's like 4 2 for $25s at Chili's. That means 8. Do you realize the endless possibilities that 8 appetizers can bring you? Well, you would if you actually had any imagination, and that's the reason why men don't take you seriously. Well, that and your complete and utter irresponsibility when it comes to spending. Seriously, woman, you live in a townhouse. You have no business buying $100 perfume.
But nonetheless, for the women that aren't, they are fed up too. And they have a right to be. Because a lot of you same fatherless MFs that complain about women being gold diggers are the same ones following Instagram models. You're the same ones saying you do not like girls or women that wear makeup. But so are you. This is why you can't get your life together. Calling women gold diggers because you didn't have a father to sit down with you and explain what it is to be with a woman of a certain lifestyle that you lust after, but then you say you don't want in real life.
Man, that's just mean. That's mean, man.
Woman, you have absolutely no business talking ill about our fathers when yours clearly didn't teach you any manners. You're acting like a gold digger because you're complaining that a dude is taking you out to a franchise restaurant on a first date. Most men don't want to spend a boatload of money on a first date, especially if there's a significant chance that they don't see a future with you. Unlike you, most self-respecting men are careful with their money because in order to earn said money, we had to work our asses off. It's our money, we'll spend it as we please. And the fact that you're acting like a child because a man won't spend huge amounts of that money on you just goes to show that your father didn't teach you any respect because he was too busy spoiling you rotten. And that rot permeates through your pores, and we can smell that through our computer screens. And there's no perfume in the world that's gonna cover up that particular brand of stench. And that's gonna do it for today's video, gentlemen and gents. As always, if you find that my particular brand of humor is bringing you to the brink of laughter, then why don't you scroll on down and click that like and subscribe button and ring the notification bell. Let's give the good old-fashioned middle finger to the YouTube algorithm. Thank you so much for checking out the new video, and until next time, peace out, homies.